Aseki. we almost a friend of a fearless leadership. And Ajikum was Ajita. Haji PH say Ajikum kukum. Madam was a king. Ajikum Ajita. Right. You Ajikum Asiajeta Aji Shie Dede Chale I one person in mommy easy young quay where you to easy young quay where you Ajikum Ajeta Ajito aha your friend said anyum we enoch mu anyum we enyajo die ofirio die otua oni rasi one ntombio yes ento zuraso onton ye mani bio abiadifo no ayi atofo no wra ho tin ton time tin ton time tan ton time tin tan time ton time tin ton time enyajo dio firio dio ti aka ni urase wonne nton bio tin ton time tan tin tan time tin ton time tan tin ton time tan tin ton young quite tin that young got tin enyajo yo firio yo tu aka ni urasi wonne ntobio wiase abraboi tin to sura omozu nyede into sura asisa into so akogu dem de wokoton de ode ko free o tin time hey almost mon block me see my head am on block tin time ton tan time ayila la anyi makola market upon awia 2 p.m. malamata for upon Emmanuel I say edek SM Beaters and Kwamroso I say Mira Akwaba
Joseph Arana Bobie
Bibi aboko there
Bibi aboko oh I think come to have say na why a big change
amen alhamdulillah na aduane suwa mitimi bewe
yes
ajovani dunia auto pacho kaja tu mienko
yo nada Bobie we de be chia me fa konyesi achia watifo eno mo hwe ewo Facebook nana eni ado ne ni fresh ones no ahaban
okay we na no oka wan say me no
tina na de wa fama na obiesu na wakata ni ba ko na wo de ahwe
de obani ya cha
na de ye ma menye bi na me fama ho na ye
David ode tobo enye no ha ode tobo
ozo obi a omomo eni yare no
mimi ni eni yare
but obo obetimi kra ehokoro wani ni so say na mu say dust ni you right ni so tibo say yi
o ma memfa nkom dem nkoye
mate yo me da say we dey match here dey chiasonko free edu herbal clinic uti edu herbal clinic uti edian no hu say ye de eba na ebibidro dia ye champion ebibidro aye mfa nsayare ye champion kra tin last week na me buy na me ka say obia afi nyame wadom utimi wura mu no emfa yare entena afi we mu esan say obi ne to no nyum say nipa obi benya wane free yare so yare nti obo se na obi pa be ma ne ho den ana oba wasi sun ka ne ho den obitima yi adwuma hwe no ho ahwe abusua no na wakadem no aye mmobo oku odidi mu na hwe a yare entia eno ti na yeto nsafre obi bia se yare bia etew so enfant na ho nkase machini a menya no odru da bi eye se wakokọ ba bi bebre edu herbal clinic bra last stop ene ye ho obabo se ebibidro mu wonders ena ye beyi ede a chew yare bia e wo so obi a wotie me stroke onyini no ho den utimi koba all of a sudden na fe do ba be disabled ka wadru yimfie bi so asen ka wo ji wani no ebobu okro okọ pension 60 years okọ pension na yare na be bon no de akwakote na fie bo se ni je bia eni ho biem enti ya to nsafre obia se edu herbal clinic enye stroke nko diabetes pressure awo asthma just dien o de boso o de ba yen ebibidro nko na de sayare 100% herbal ene de sayare ena yen so be nya yen no ni free no enye ba bi a ball bi wo ana ye tuahwie nso gu nya kwan ho ya sheda to forest asase wo ho a ye dua nnua ne haban a ye kɔ boaboa ye nu na no e de ba be no so ne so a FDA nso agye atum sɛ ye mfa sayare eno na oba ya hye ya ye de edi dwuma na enami nua ba kɔ me nkyɛn ti ono so ka asɛm kakra na ya di SM ho komo
etiefo adia ba ko a eya na yata boss bebre eya na yenkofo bi eni wuo sese bi wo mo na ba bonten aka ho asam bro ni frɛ no STIs e sexually transmitted infections eya na obi nye bi a na eya na fare etumi hia no ho saa be ma de yetia ye eba wo ho a enche na wo hu symptoms no dempo no ye we bi wo ho no ma won for asthmatic patient na yetene se omunya yade no kra omunya infections bia omunya symptoms bia e se o me sa yare we woni how tutu na bra edu herbal clinic say yeast infection say bacterial infection say fungal infection woni how em fan sha wo ho em ba ma de problems bebre ba ko so ye be hye ye ho eche prostate no so what them STIs no ehye ho bebre na wonka wo so a womfa eduro womfa nka na mfiri ho a ededen saa na accumulate atoto so na de prostate eda bro bememu a na ye de rubber ebe hye wo bemem se na be ya obutumi se bio wegunsu enye tutu nan na bra edu herbal clinic ye de ndubran ye de ba fry ye de amom wanom na ye tuase fe yendura ye ni nia eye purely organic chemicals bian fremu eye natural nti se tu yere na so a etu ni ye eyifu ho kra ma wonhu biom oba edu herbal clinic na obenya sa anwome nia nti tutu na bra STIs chlamydia syphilis mbesiafo no so saudi wo de show ho cha obhwansa akwa stop wo uterus no na de sebio awo problem so e de brel dabi tutu na bra edu herbal clinic oba obenya wayaresa fefefe ye de no mesin bi betudwa wo problem bi wo feel say bi a ope individual attention send an affair anything ope individual attention and worry doctor say gen personal number Dr. Edu Mohammed say gen personal number na frano ono betu ntia wapeda na wo de aba be hia no na yare no se ne atibia no wobuebu so no de akere no na wape ho eduro e de amawo na ma no ye 0558 37 9545 me sense subiem 0558 37 9545 any STI infections biano fabra Dr. Edu say obetu yara na sekra ediamo
yo ye da se de won commoded na utie nti obi wa infections a me so mfa nhye wo ho oba wa woro opieto a hun se niema etem no eya na enya ho ka be makon ho one day obo se wo frɛ na wo mfa onti ase ene san se wonya wo ho duro so adase obi a ade a enika efe obi ani gye ho ade a da bia na ohawo ho no pina nipa pina ni nye ho na nkomo papa bi aba SMBTS aba bema bia obema ewu anase bema bia watinka atiako anase bema bia wa hoden abafom me ka o mema ye abafom no me sew nyame ati o mpa bo fasting na waye 40 days fasting 90 days fasting na waye no nyame ati o mpa bo akofa SMBTS aba onam Edu Herbal Clinic so ede abrow eti obi a wotie me sedro ye no obi a wanya stroke 15 years 15 good years obeda ya so ye e wo mankasim ba fi krom na ne be man ewu kojo to for 15 years and a stroke nso so enya naka ho na wote yanka oba ye ne ye do no foforo a FDA agi2 mu no sa man na ye try no ye de man say oh eja no ne ha de 3 days time ade anka ewu for 15 years na asore jane naso obi oda general ward after o ka che na yire se onko kanche doctor na move no from general ward to private ward se na be ya obone na yire ebetimi ehia mu ama na ye fe anche be 1 month time no se ye ne ho ne why ne din eno ko apege de o kofi akwakoto na mema ye so entimi so be ma bia wutie me enka se edro ni ho edro aba edu papa no efri Edu Herbal Clinic ho aba a efe no SMBTS ebia wutie me ubusa se na dro ya me bo so ehin fapa na menya bi ato dedi kan okanshi drugling Kingswalk Herbal Shop ubenya bi ato ewo ho Kobedia Herbal Shop ubenya bi ato ho Richco Herbal Shop ubenya bi ato ho Angel Herbal Shop ubenya bi ato ho na Ruta Life Herbal Shop ubenya bi ato ewo ho na obi a otie me from Ashaiman ko Ekus Pharmacy Ashaiman Little George and also ewo Tema Community 5 na John Best Chemist ewo Abavana Junction Kotobabi and afin so no Nap Blanks Pharmacy ewo Tabora Alaji Kev ne so pe ubenya bi ato Oka Pharmacy ewo La Paz Kaneshi Station wo and filling station total no na ye opposite and a Big Maroon Pharmacy and also ni La Paz New Market no and edin hwe animu and ye wo Black Swan Pharmacy and also so ewo Odoko Tipa Westland hona ben Starbite hono and a Rejoice Pharmacy and also ewo Kaneshi and Kaneshi Market ni edin hwe animu ɛna Rich Ben's Pharmacy ɛno nso ɛwɔ 37 Military Hospital runabout ne nkyɛn hɔ a ɛna obenya bi atɔ Odoko Pharmacy nso so ɛyɛ opposite Best Point Savings and Loans obenya bi atɔ ɛna ɛwɔ Art Pharmacy Dakoma Junction Total Filling Station hɔ na ɛna bɛsɛ nya bi nso atɔ ɛwɔ Art Pharmacy hɔ na deɛ ɛwɔ Pig Farm no Total Filling Station hɔ na obenya bi atɔ ɛna ɛwɔ Welcome Pharmacy ɛwɔ Terrazzo Road Odoko Terrazzo Road obenya bi atɔ Bukum Pharmacy enso Astrotef ne nkyɛn hɔ na obenya bi atɔ Bukum Pharmacy ɛna Krobia Pharmacy ɛno nso wɔ La Paz Papa yɛ nkyɛn hɔ na obenya bi atɔ enti Edu Herbal Clinic yaso yɛ Mankasim Befi Krom tienie Mankasim Befi Krom ɛna Odoko nso yɛ Odoko Official Town Christ Ebenezer Preparatory School no na chipe ɛna yɛwɔ tiare bia Fabrain na yɛntu aseɛ ɛma na afin nso no nso gyan na so na yɛ adwuma na fa boa wo ho isan sɛ deɛ ma nneɛma koi deɛ wan gyina pinti na wa mmoa wo ho a aha na edi ayɛw tie numbers no enie ɛyɛ 0201
0201
044
044
221 0201 044 221 and I say 0243 98 93 68 0243 98 93 68 adia brofo antu mi anye obibini baya wa beye Doctor Dwe yenye udeni edek enkwa sombo na medasi.
All right. You are
Nana.
Yamin Shabebre.
Yamin Shabebre.
Yamin Shabebre. All right. All right. So that's it live on Accra 100.5. Yo. Let's do this. Ono eye bebre but mame musa osade we obi send him say see me ya adwuma no obi send him a message very free Legon University of Ghana also a student na baby a wo da no ano odian kasa. So these are some of the issues I think say esi ebie ye ni na ye hwe and now you din komo bi efa basic schools. So we're talking about textbooks, lack of textbooks. They're introducing curriculum for like 5 years, maybe. But Edgar, if you say, Chairman, Majoy.
Yeah, I mean you are to say.
Boko, Afin Shapa.
Yeah, Kakran am review class rapid.
Jesus. I want to January not chair.
And yes, I joined the class church. I mean, who the Akoso class system now?
Bibia, what is so brew? Bibia, what is so brew?
I feel no, I don't know, but terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, man. Really terrible.
Why terrible?
Oh, well, so basically, I mean, irrespective of the fact that, yes, the whole world has gone through some kind of a dramatic situation. Friend is saying pandemic, and then Russia, Ukraine. But the fact of the matter is that, Ukraine started to say, as that is before the pandemic.
That is before 2020.
Oh yes, before 2020. In fact, Nanka in 2020, no. Yeah. Somewhere the middle of 2020, Nanka problems are you facing in Neno. Kayebe around the middle of 2020.
Meaning what?
Meaning that the situation I almost is saying. Problems are so if I haircuts in this animal, we would have actually witnessed or seen that in the
but I didn't have a number.
So COVID sick and buy,
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. And proud to the COVID or proud to the lockdown. The government was able to secure is about some 3 billion or so 3.5.
Mamenya Jumaki to be Messiaba. Honorable Inusa Fuseni, former MP Tamale Central, Mameni Nin Komo Emra. Honorable Majo. Nyamia Domboko, Chairman, and Pacho where?
Me
Nyamia say.
Now, I feel one wishing me happy new year.
Oh, Afisiapa.
to say net yes.
Ami. Me beba. Minimum say what din komo the entire flow no issues about NDC changes on the about parliament. Yeah, my who say what did the komo no bebre. But adia ba ko City FM online. Omo the story be beto or can say changes no it comes as a surprise to you. Why? I don't think it's a surprise to you.
Because Yantifi and I would do it.
Mesomantishi.
So that's a surprise.
But previous changes are bano. Aya muti baby.
Yanya previous change impo. Yanya bida.
Okay, so make up previous changes. What I mean is say how much change leadership.
NDC. Ned yeti abenmu ewo in power from 1993 ekosi 2000 that time no ohine achampo anane din design
ohine achampo no free sunyane
enti omo anchenye no
okay
so ye free power no na Bobie for 8 years. No minority leader. Yan changing. So also ye majority leader. Ye win the power no or ye majority leader. Ansah na omuyi no ko water resources works and housing. Na kumbo G Saadiano. And I think it was Kumbo. And after Kumbo, na Cletus of Okabaye.
Okay.
But that was the at that time majority leader. So na Bobie Dani majority leader, and then Ojoni executive no. Na Kumbo, I think Kumbo came first, and then after that no. Now we Cletus of Okabaye. Okay, the sa 2017 year opposition na Haruna Idrisu than a minority leader. Into the history of these changes.
Enti quite better sooner we fast back now we have fast swaba.
Oh, to be honest with you, the time puna nkofobi omuji achu chirobokakra. I still remember distinctly say me they call Parliament 2006. We got two Bobie as minority leader. But in 2009, elections no year. You call you know almost your dealers me. You call you see your dealers me. In 2012, election we you call 2013 reform government. You see. Leaders in here. I don't remember anybody coming to say Parliament. Yeah, call at the opposition. Me kai pass General Secretary. Then I said Katia. Parliament. Yeah, meeting. It was the parliamentary block. And leaders. And then I spoke at them. And then I say, okay, this is the decision of Parliament. We say almost one of consulting, the regional caucus leaders. I bet it was a long story. I remember Agalga State
2017. So yes. Which means 2017 no a party no na announce actually mo say mo leadership.
But say leaders ni upon consultation with the larger party and stakeholders.
And yes mo to aba.
No.
A party no communicate ma
yeah.
Some leaders and leaders and why.
Yeah, minority leader, yeah, Haruna Idrisu, yeah, deputy, yeah, Aveji, yeah, whip, yeah, Muntaka, yeah, deputy whip, yeah, Ahmed, the second deputy whip, yeah, Kofodoyo.
Okay, so which means 2017, a quiet fast ye a year, Haruna Idrisu, a year party nuna a ye woman.
But a party position.
Okay.
A party position. Or be a parliament, or a member of parliament. The party with the highest numerical strength, other than the party forming government, its leader, its a head, is the minority leader. And designated so by the party. Party by normal kind.
NDC party.
Yeah.
Okay, so the SCNA are different from the 2017 DNO.
The SCNA, it is that's why it's surprising. Yeah, you need that experience.
Mm-hmm.
We are never reshuffled.
Mm-hmm.
In leadership, midterm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ada. So that is why it's surprising to me. So what we thought would have happened, say, when we came back, by 2000 and when Parliament when Parliament was reconstituted, the 8th Parliament, before ever started Juma, the party would have determined your leadership. So if there was a need to change them, no more change your most that time, no. But be it as it may.
Oh, me cyber you make you a statement.
Say Parliament is for a 4-year tenure. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So from 2017, ever since 2021, the Parliament, the 7th Parliament,
mm-hmm.
And so the leadership and Parliament will be dissolved midnight, 6th January.
Yeah.
And the dissolution of Parliament goes with the leadership and Obia.
Okay.
The Parliament will be reconstituted on the 7th.
Okay.
Okay, and then to start new parliamentary life. That's the 8th Parliament. So now I was thinking that if an assessment of leadership did not show that they were doing their work well and we needed a change or something, I was thinking that was the time they needed to do the changes.
Okay, but before Oberkosuno, Edgar Redu, was studio, I say, also,
Edgar.
Yeah, also one question be answered.
Can't you understand? My John Pa.
Araji.
Yes.
Araji, what do you win your back on the chamber? So yeah. Anyway, Araji, what can some know? What should I say? In 2006, no. Okay, or let's say in 2005.
9.
Yeah, 2005. Mudru Parliament, Any HM will say, mu leaders in here.
Yeah.
Good. And then in 2009 also, Mudru Hon HM will say, mu leaders in here. Good. But then the question is this, say, you don't know how that process, occur yet.
No. You see, because party leadership, a party leadership of the minority in parliament, a party position.
Yes, Matthias here. But the question I want to find out is, so far as who drew Hono, you say mu leaders in here. The question is this: say the party as NDC party. The possibility is the leadership of the NDC, which is probably the National Executive Committee or the
Council of Elders.
Yeah, probably they are the ones who meet to decide who would be the leader.
Yes.
It's just that decision, was taken into Mudru Hono
no communicator.
So the question therefore lies in the same. It is not the members of parliament of a particular party and a decided leadership, but rather the broader executive wind Oh, in the decide who becomes the leader. The only confusion or controversy is same way na abano I say midterm coup d'etat.
No coup d'etat.
Wow, just say no. What I'm trying to say is
coup d'etat.
What I'm saying is
he wants to explain.
No.
He wants to explain. Okay. So explain to us.
A coup d'etat is unconstitutional usurpation of power. But one kasa ega, what kasa pass the who will become the leader. So the party is exercising a lawful authority. So
point and person me raising is just say
no, you have always unlawful usurpation. Of power. That's
the decision of who becomes who in parliament on the ticket of a party, it is the decision of the party itself with this highest hierarchy.
Yes.
Okay. All right then. That's it.
Okay. All right. So honorable. Quick one, Mami Mbusawe, there is in one my explanation, but from what point of view, what do you think? What do you see?
Well, it's good. I respect the decision. Because you see, whatever is happening now must be situated within the context of election 2024.
Okay.
You can't take it in isolation. And then you can say, I carry 23 months to elections. And so you want to put your best man or men forward. The battle for the minds and hearts of Ghanaians will be fought vigorously in Parliament. Vigorously.
So do you want to mean, sir, with Idrisu and Muntaka, no the best men?
No. You are it's a strategic repositioning.
Okay.
Say wouldn't say it is ultimately in the interest of Muntaka and Haruna that NDC wins power.
Yes, obviously.
Yes. So if the party thinks that to get that power, this is what we have to do, you can't stand in the way. Because that is what you are looking for. That is the ultimate purpose of the existence of the party. So this is what the party thinks. Say, if we do this, we will be able to win the minds and souls, hearts of the people of Ghana.
But looking at experience, because Matisse been raising issues about Atofos and Onyenya experience. I just want an explanation from your point.
Experience. Before Haruna Idrisu became minority leader, Haruna Idrisu had never held any leadership position in Parliament, not even ranking member. Until that time, what criteria did they elect him minority leader?
I see. But Atofos is a ranking member.
Yes.
And Emmanuel Kufibua
a ranking member.
A ranking member.
And Abuja a ranking member.
I see.
It's just to divert. It's a red herring.
Mami Musa,
at the time that Bobie was made minority leader, Bobie had only been the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament. That was the highest. But look at how he discharged himself. He had never sat on the front bench of Parliament. So adi.
But utie backlash free obit say honorable Haruna Idrisu constituency bano who say because see na me say Emrante bi so issue statement concern Dagbon youth about this whole issue signed by one Al Hassan on the president Emma Dagbon youth no
the parties, the NDC is a political party. It's not all the Bombers who are in NDC. Secondly, NDC has sympathizers and supporters. They will express Omumbatimaka Omadrin Edifa Adedia party no. But let's not confuse NDC with the bomb. That's the first thing. The second thing is that yam passions and emotions and conform. At the time Haruna Idrisu was made minority leader, there were no people in Parliament who were equally qualified to be minority leader. What did leadership no man no? Who say Fanti Youth Association or more issue statement?
No.
And Afafra Youth Association or more issue statement. And Adagwe Youth Association or more issue statement. And Akan Youth Association or more issue statement. So we must be reasonable and tolerant of parties' decisions.
I think Honorable Jumanyina, but Bernard Mona Ansah was studio. See, we saw one question and sign one call.
He's a chief. He's a chief. Chief to ask questions.
Jaman,
bro, how are you?
Fine, Bernard. How are you?
I could have been better.
Yeah. Oh, you are better. I know you are better.
I could have been better. No, not under Akufo-Addo.
Oh yeah. Nobody's better. Oh no. Not that we have been threatened with haircuts.
Particularly when you see what is contained in the Auditor General's report, and then you are still better. We'll have to.
I totally understand and I agree with you.
Just a little one. Yes, I think that you have explained very well that the party is bigger than any individual. And the party take decisions. And in particular, at this time that there is a new king, there is certainly bound to be a new law. It even happens in government when a president is succeeded by another president, even from the same political party. There is always changes to the team that comes in. I want to believe that as a party, there was that consultation and eventual settlement on what the party wanted to do before this decision was made, so as not to create the kind of tension within the leadership of the parliament. That is my first one. The second one, which I think is a slap in the face of President Akufo-Addo, is that whilst even the opposition has shown determination that they are capable of reshuffling, the government, with some ministers performing abysmally, is unable to reshuffle. Dabi, I'm saying that it's two in one. First, to comment that this is a slap in the face of Akufo-Addo, but also the first one has to do with omotumiye consultations, because omoye consultations are. I don't think that there will be any tension internally. Probably the decision would have even been communicated to the constituents of Haruna. So the party is desiring to do these changes, and I am all for the party and the decisions they will make, so that when the announcement comes, it doesn't come as a shock.
That consultation was not done.
Yeah. Which consultation and where I sit, I think that it was not done. This probably would have come as a shock.
Or response.
Bernard, I'm privileged to be talking to a former chairman of a very important political party in Ghana. And chairman, when him say consultation with stakeholders, the consultation was done with all the key stakeholders of the party on why we needed to reposition strategically the leadership of the party. So consultation was done. But you know, when a leader stays in a particular position for some time, in fact for a long time, it creates something that we call the personalization of that office.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to think of that person, of that office, in terms of that person. And when that person is finally removed, in circumstances like this nature, people's passions will be bruised, egos will flare. So that's what is happening. People are seeing that office as a personal office of the outgoing leadership. That is why they are behaving that way. Because you know as much as I do that the only qualification to become a minority leader is to be a member of parliament. And nobody goes to parliament with that position. Minority leader, nobody goes to parliament with that position. So even before you are made a member, a minority leader, or a leader of the party, there's broad consultation because the party position. I think that what the party needs to do is to immediately meet the members of parliament and inform them, just like they used to. Anytime they took a decision of this nature, or more informing parliament, they came, called us together, and informed that this is the decision of the parliament, of the party. I think that they need to do that immediately. But after Nana Akufo-Addo and his failure to reshuffle, don't you understand why he can't reshuffle? You don't understand. How can you reshuffle your own Ebusia? How can you do that? Where do you send them? Who do you send home? Who do you send home? So, I mean, and don't, Mona, you should know that Nana Akufo-Addo is a fiction. Before Odani president, people thought that he was the president that we never had. Yes, sir. That's what the people thought. Because of the bombastic statements that he made. But he has turned out to be the worst ever president that Ghana has ever had. So it's a fiction.
Okay.
When you know Peter Abrahams, have you read Peter Abrahams' Mind Boy? Huh? Have you read that book? Mind Boy. There's a line in that book talking about a character, Johannes. Johannes used to work in the mines. And Johannes, when he drank, he was a different person. When Johannes was sober, he was a different person. So in that book, he described Johannes drunk and Johannes sober were two different persons. The same thing. Akufo-Addo, opposition leader, and Akufo-Addo, president, are two different, completely different persons.
Okay.
Completely.
Okay. Oh, no, I think it's a conversation with Koswa. Yeah, that's it. Say, or share your thoughts with us. But my memory back to Edgar, this changes in Parliament. This changes. Say.
Oh, that's like we rightly said. I mean, it's the decision of, you see, first of all, I was saying until I mean, Honorable Air Kano, I wanted that thing to come out clear. Say, the decision of chief committee, the party leadership, the Johnsons, the Fifi, the one, and our more neck. So such decision is on a honor a free bar. Unfortunately, most people are not aware of some of these things, but let me just put it clearly. Who's there? The opposition, I mean, from yes, the opposition, a minority leader. He is the only person that is recognized when we are talking about governance. I mean, the government of Ghana. So, minority leader is the only position.
Yeah.
In the Aqua is a party, normally the account, more second fiddle. You are not really recognized so far as the governance is concerned.
Okay.
Into the minority leader plays a very, very important role so far as government is concerned. Okay. Now, said the yeah, Kano. And Nipa be great. He said now a president, Mr. Alaji. When we do Parliament, after election, then the executives are presented to them. In 2017, when they got to Parliament, Johnson Asiedu Ketia, who was then your friend is saying, General Secretary, came over, had some meeting with them, and presented the leadership to them. So therefore, it is very clear, say, I want to believe we say, it is just as a simple thing. The simple thing, in my view, is that I think Haruna in the chair as a minority leader, he has been stood up and made all the vociferous, your friend is saying, arguments, making here and there and that sort of thing. And here's somebody that is, if you want to look at what he has done now, as against the likes of, you see, at times, a certain kind of body language, a certain kind of posture, a certain kind of delivery, articulation moves a certain constituency. It's very, very important in politics.
Yeah,
you see, the posture, articulation, delivery, okay, trying to, it's like say, kind of say, I'll give you a run for your money, that kind of thing. You see, he has been able to put himself in a certain situation now. A lot of people endear. I mean, like, oh, Charlie, Papi, Oyadi. So the furore noise now
from his constituency.
Yes, from his maybe his constituency for no my years and you're publicly open. But I mean individuals who I've heard talking and everything, are publicly. But it's like they seem to be impressed with the man Haruna. Okay. And then Kesel seems to be a bit diplomatic. He seems to come out the gentleman type of person. So no. Into who is there or no such gentleman type no. On near that vociferosity said the Abia Haruna no Ositie. That is not to suggest to say Kesel cannot make an impact. But say as we are talking, I say Obikura Kanasa will say I didn't know about two Abama of Sa Papa we also because of Panama me fe. If you go to the academic world now, the academic world will also want to look at it from a different area. The business community would want to look at things from a different area. The youth would look at things from a different area. I mean, Obiani said you see analyzing in your mind because the bill will be to catch or say this person may be a good candidate, but for the mere fact to say Abian in your mind does not appeal to people, no. In the for a Juman in your day, Emano. Well, into Obiani said you see wonderful. But then the most important thing, and they say, according to what Memete, this decision was taken. Haruna was written to officially.
Okay.
Muntaka was written to formally. The little problem here, Nani say, one more letters, and I said discussions in the course, so no. How did they also receive it, and then what communication almost send it down? So, because the point of the matter remains to say, Senka womo SND and your money down properly, yeah. Mete say Mutala Muhammad and Kasa.
Yeah.
So, which means it says Senka womo to me a communication no yeah, and sa backbenchers no. They would not sort of, I don't want to use the word revolt, but maybe they would not have spoken in the way or more kasai. And then maybe they are also trying to introduce something new into the system. What they are trying to introduce into the system, which of course I think in my view makes sense. Also, look, anyway in a year juma, into at least if you create money and kasa. So, which means that to say the Honorable Inusa Air Kanono. In 2017, the General Secretary walked to Parliament in the Parliamentary block and had a meeting with the caucus in Nomoye introduction. And it's a BBC also because ideally no and Kamushia Womo and Amoni Omoso Air Day a bobo. Some of these unnecessary rantlings.
And even to the extent that some of us whose political parties did not get the opportunity to be in parliament, but we feel that we are of the minority, we expected a certain hardline stance of the minority, and we did not see that. At the end, you blame the leadership, particularly in the second term of Akufo-Addo as ministers.
Yeah.
Kwan boni a omo fire Ghana for do intimi antro omudin into the voters register. Because if you have somebody like Nitiwul, Otimika say they will go and close borders to deny citizens of Ghana who by some business arrangement they are in Togo, they are in Abidjan, they are in Sankasi. Because if you are looking for a commercial capital, now Otiaflau, to do they come to parliament and they are passed. And you tell us that why you are not the ones to choose for the president who should be a minister. It incensed people. The second one has to do with the likes of Kandapa, who will lead a security to go and beat people at Ayawaso West Wagon and supervise the army and the police to go and kill over 9 people during elections. Now Timi Abatanase and the person is approved. We have question marks. You have the likes of Hawa Kumsin, who cannot even define the remit of the ministries that they are running. They don't know what constitutes Ministry of Fisheries. And yet they are passed. You have a Kojong Opong Nkrumah, who is the Minister for Information, who will come and lie that he owns a bank, a savings and loans scheme, where he has 83%, and that will go to Unibank and go and contract a loan, and as the majority shareholder, he is not aware that the company goes, and you come and pass such persons. If this is your private thing and you don't even know that they are going to take loans and whether the loan will make you better or not. I mean, this caboodle of reasons made us to have a bit of difficulty. And of course, in our recent time, I said this, and I don't know why Atufosin will be the one to replace Haruna Iddrisu. Are they not the same people who went and moved the motion of censure and they were the star witnesses? They moved the motion calling Ken Ofori-Attah's capacity or saying that he's not fit for purpose as Minister for Finance. The Right Honorable Speaker set up a committee. Say a committee no munko hwehwem. You went there as star witness. Now, the committee report was not available. Then you go and sit down for the person you saying that he's not fit for office as Minister for Finance, no. Now, on the kind budget, no, or kind budget, no, we are. The next day you go and take the committee's report.
No, but Bernard, with what you are saying there, which means Obianu or minority side now, or Fetis or leader.
Because the two, no, I'm just saying that the two of them, Haruna Idrisu and your friend saying Forsen, they were the star witnesses. And they let us down. Because at that point, you know, when we thought that, look, hey, first, if I say, Bobie, you are not fit to be the host of this program.
Yeah.
And we petition. And then your friend saying general manager says that the asset committee said they should look into the petition. Then the following day, you say, Bobie, come and host the show. Now you're better. And I come and sit down. It means that I have allowed you and I agree that you can continue your office. Because the report did not come out. And even in court, this one you know better than me. When somebody's capacity or issue of capacity comes into the fore, every other issue, including the substantive matter, is put on hold until the question of capacity is settled. In this case, it was not settled. The capacity of Ken Ofori-Atta to continue to carry himself as Minister for Finance, when the motion is still pending, was not settled. And yet he had the... So there were... It's not a case that you can say that they perform excellently. I have known my brother, and he's my big brother, Haruna Idrisu, from the days of his leadership as NUC's president. They beat us up as during the Mobrowa struggle.
Okay.
So much. They beat us up. People died in the course of the struggle. I've known him when he was youth organizer. His agility, vociferousness is not in doubt. And I think that it was all those, a culmination of all those things that led to. But where I said, look, the NDC has a right to choose who they want. I think that they do not do it right. If you think that you have a parliamentary party and you are elected party executives, what prevented the NDC leadership for calling the parliamentary party and telling them that as national officers, we have our reasons, we have cooperated, we have worked together, we have come this far, we think that we need to change the new leadership for a certain purpose. So we'll be coming to... Look, if you do that and the names are coming out, it will not come as a shock. Said that, I'll hear my brother Mutala speak the way he has spoken. You understand? And then you will see that the tension would have, that the new party leadership said, we want to do this. But also, if you listen to the national chairman of the party, Nia Okayeno, I'll say, why? We need a new set of people in order to win 2024 elections. What you are telling me is that Haruna Idrisu and those who led do not have the wherewithal to lead you to win an election. And that, for me, was a shot. Because if you are talking about the economy, really, and that KCL Atuforsen can talk more economy, I disagree. There are people in the ranks of the NDC that we know that the articulation of the economy is far superior than KCL Atuforsen.
Why?
Oh, I don't go. It's not that he's more knowledgeable, but his articulation of the issues and the way he style it is super. You have somebody like Eriko Opoku. Is it like Eriko Opoku?
Yeah.
Any topic you give Eriko Opoku, the way he handles it. If Eriko Opoku is not in the leadership, and you come and tell me, why? Who says that agriculture will not play a significant role in the 2024 elections? Abra, your minister for agriculture.
But a case, a ranking member on finance. No, send us don't get
that be me and Americano because me tia say don't get no say infrastructure, the economy and energy.
Yes,
will be the issues leading to 2024. And I'm saying that Adriania Yebedi.
Yes, but women synchrophobia. And I'm saying synchrophobia in our parliament. And no more parliamentarians, no. And your party ne choose a case to force him out.
I'm saying that is minority. Why? In this statement,
you raised an issue. Say,
if I see Dunketia's argument is that because the economy will play central in election 2024, then why? I say that there are people who can speak more articulate on the economy. Why? KCL is not mean in his understanding of the economy, but we are talking about articulation. What do you say? KCL is more of speaking more technical than speaking to the issues. But
as a ranking member,
ranking member is different from
the point. The point of the matter is that KCL is the ranking member on
finance.
So it is a limitation. It's just about finance as Semuna Jamano. He will deal with the issue
on the technical.
So that is a total different
from being overall leadership.
Overall leaders' contribution in terms of
because leader is not just about the economy,
but also overall knowledge.
So then I'm saying that if you take interview with Joy FM,
yes.
If you listen to the in-depth interview and the justifications, then you cannot posit it. So that could be the reason for which these changes have come.
Okay.
And I'm saying that Adriani Asem, who speaks more of agriculture and other sectors of the economy than your friend Eric Opoku, even leading to your 2020 elections, Eric Opoku was speaking, and Okasa on paper, he will speak. And
so at the end of the day,
so the point I'm making is that, look, you, the party, have taken a decision. For somebody like the chairman to now come and be giving justification, because of energy, because of the economy, energy in Tinamokofa, Kofi Amabua, Edebaye. Right? Because he was a minister. We have Kwabena Donko. We have Abu Jinapo. Is it Abu? Yes, John Abu Jinapo. And we see that John rather speaks more on the energy sector, even though Amabua was the sector minister. So I'm saying that, look, the party has taken a decision. The party should sober, relax. There's no compulsion to come and explain because the more you offer explanation, the more then you give us the chance to say that, okay, let's probe. Is it true that when it comes to energy, Amabua is an expert than Kwabena Donko or than this person? Then say, then we will begin to probe and ask questions. Look, I say that new king, new law. There is a new national chairman. There is a new general secretary. There is a new national organizer. They think that this is the time they also want to bring in people that their thinking can fall in line. Period. Can you take anything away from them? No.
Well, let me just make this. Bernard. Bernard, one thing is we all have, as I said, the way you see assessing your effort. You may have your view and your position. I'll be feels just like you articulated. So who feels a position the minority took. But then you see, one of the things you should understand is that even though it is a minority leader leading, he is not an autocratic person. So
why is that okay?
And some talking about certain positions it take here or no feel say in his view it doesn't give them should I say a right position in the eyes of certain people. If you understand about one more we felt said, look, based on some one or two things, these people shouldn't have gone through vetting. I mean, whatever it is like.
Yeah.
This censure motion. These now one of the things you should understand is that in those caucuses, it is not a one-man show.
Exactly.
It is if the minority contributed in the passage or passing of or some of these people as ministers now, you don't hold Haruna responsible for that because he's not running a one-man show there. The party leadership or the caucus leadership would definitely come to that because what I heard at the end of the day, because if I remember very well, when some of these issues came up, the likes of Semi Jemfi and a few guys, you know, went out there and they were very, very angry with some of these things. But there again, so yes, we all have different way of digesting some of these things. Behind the views, you cannot get 100% agreeing with you. I don't think a democracy. We be candidate, we should be candidate. Say. Into Adnaba, and there are certain things so that we can ask them saying anything that we are doing. There are certain legalities involved, because one of the funny things is the fact that emotion has been put on the table. Okay. Emotion has been put on the table for a particular cause. To say censure, anyway. Nothing in the Constitution or the standing orders says the moment a censure, right, has been put before you, you cease to have your rights or your position as such that you cannot perform or you cannot do this. We can get into all those legal arguments. Well, so, but it's unnecessary. And see, when you hold on a certain view, I mean, I agree. I mentioned everyone has an opinion on it, but you don't make it look like that is what it is, because Obi can ask them, Emrani Ediye Juma. In this Emrani intro, and I like the way you put it. Say, when certain issues come to court now, issues of locus will come in what capacity you are there, which has to be justified. If you don't have the locus, the case will not even come out at all. But as I'm saying is in this particular era, right, within the standing orders, the operating manual of the parliament, it does not bar the minister from coming to parliament. And just as you also rightly said, the report was not even ready. And reports not any ready.
The day after the budget, it was ready.
You see, one okay, I'll say a day after
so
the
they
budget.
Could have shifted.
So then the point of the matter is that he came there, let's say on a Wednesday, he had every right to be there. And a Thursday report in here ready. Why do you want to use that against him and say it's a one-yard? I mean, so some of these things.
But the point is that at a point in time, no partner who the need say, look, I see ye changes kakra. Because we know yantuaba party executives, council of elders, they will sit down. Omobeshe eye emprempremu. A day in ye be here free Edgar and I
don't think that is in dispute. I don't Obiatias here say so far as they have that mandate. They said that is why I try to put the question to Honorable Inisa for him to come out clearly that it is purely the decision of the top brass. Into the only problem faces say and they say, oh, now at this material time, because you will be there, and there's always the first point. Into a bar, fine. Okay? At this material time now, what this are the way airbano. Okay? The same way Minya Bernard has expressed the views on the individuals and the reasons I say don't get here. Am I me answer the same thing when I heard the reasons, I was like, my God, I mean, if you are talking of the economy is about everything. Production of goods and service distribution and said your kind eduane nsemu nyina agbo wow insua ebenum ewomu ekwan is all part of the economy. Well no you know arguments now who raising on, and then the other aspect of it is when they say Casel, everybody has come to know Casel as a finance man. So when the finance issues are there, he articulates on them. But then as I'm saying, look, some of these things won't try will be fair. Okay? You observe if the party in their wisdom, Momufu says Sana and was a bar. So I said they will feel crana, only with any of my honum na Bibi Crabana Kokana will know about Cragria. Almost I just want to eat. You know what?
Anyway, all right. My main clear some of the messages here. Maunyo Fred Yagbena obviously will be a Telben Mona NDC. They have the men when it comes to how to handle Ghana's economic problems. So whoever they elect to lead in Parliament can do the job. More so and so definitely.
No, the point I just made is that the point I made is that where I sit, except the kind of argument that and a justification at the general secretary, national chairman, you understand, because if you bring say because of infrastructure Kwame Agboja should become a leader. Why? Kwame Agboja was already talking.
He was
already talking about infrastructure. Must he necessarily become the leader? Because anytime there was issue about infrastructure, rules and what have you.
No, but even with Haruna and Muntaka, some don't offer a reason.
That changes, no. What they have done demonstrably. Look, Akufo-Addo. What they have done is like they have just shredded Akufo-Addo and made him to look useless as a leader of our country.
That is your view.
That's my view. That's my view, but I'm not speaking your view.
Oh, no, I say it's important.
No, but I'm not speaking your view.
Say
no. You have a body, say. So why you decided to keep your beard? I decided to keep my hair. And because when they are talking about haircut, they will not be doing a body. Say they will be cutting away into the Majai media so that they can cut my hair. Because who was Sakura to say they cannot do haircut. So you must grow hair before they can do haircut. So that's but the point
I'm out for resist you on social media that if opposition party,
if the opposition has the guts, look, Anura and Haruna standing within the NDZ and how he has carried and conducted himself. Look, if you go amongst the members of parliament, within the minority, the way they respect and recognize Haruna, then the party can say, yes, they behave like the former Manchester coach, Ferguson. The top player, no, he says that go and sit down. I'm giving you out, and I'm bringing a new person in. And you have a government, and they have a finance minister whose knowledge of the sector is zero. And the president cannot remove him and do reshuffle. Then the opposition is even telling you that even as we are in opposition, we are capable of doing reshuffle. So what the opposition is telling the people of Ghana is that, look, when it comes to us leading, and somebody, we think that his role is not going the way we want, we will change the person. The opposition has demonstrated that. What again? Akufo-Addo, if you come tomorrow and do reshuffle, it's like you are now learning from the opposition. And I think that this is the biggest punch that they have given to the governing party. And I just think that, look, it's a punch beyond redemption. Because Akufo-Addo says that his ministers are performing. You think Haruna was not performing? Because if you listen to Edgar, Haruna was performing.
Oh, of course. I mean,
do you understand? You think that Mutaka was not performing to the extent that Mutaka can get up and say that even the Speaker of Parliament that come from their stock is wrong on certain things.
No, I mean,
you understand? You can see that they performed.
I mean, that's for Haruna.
Admirably, they performed, and still the party said that no. Bakufo and so go and then another person. Yes, let another person. It's also even possible, and I've seen this before. Who was that? I think Cletus Avoka succeeded Bobie.
Yeah,
Avoka.
No, so then he was there. He didn't last. Then they brought Ben Kumbo.
No, Kumbo was before Cletus.
Was that so?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was when Bagbin went to the housing, water resources, and then Kumbo came. Then after that came
Cletus Avoka, and then those changes have happened. And why they didn't stay even to the end of the term? They saw that there was the need. So it's possible that.
But I think in those cases, it's because they were given other positions. That is why then the replacement.
So I would not be surprised that in the year 2024, it's possible that there can also be another reshuffle.
Yeah, but you see,
but that is the decision of the leadership of the party, and then we cannot say that they don't have the right. Maybe I think that look, they have done what they have to do. It is our prayer and hope, say, they can stand up to the heat.
Anyway.
Mami, yeah, you can crib. I said, I mean, you better that car about Akufo-Addo. No,
yeah, reshuffle.
You see, problem about women is we as citizens, well, you may be and you may be our system. So we would always complain about things not happening. But problem never want to say Akufo-Addo, honor your boss. Okay?
Yeah.
Honor your boss. Yeah. Now, if you say, we present the manifesto, I'm a citizen. just like any other political party presents a manifesto. So far as the NPP was voted into power, no, Obeka say manifesto na or they buy out, no, and na citizens here then a vote to man.
Okay.
And according to also the manifesto, no, a choir or person of us they achieve the manifesto, no, and or they are then or they are selecting in Crawford. Into so far as or no Akufo-Addo no ye concerned there. Oh, just as if say the oppressor a koso no, and a koso. And I may just say, young as citizens, no, we are complaining bitterly,
including his party members.
And I may just, but or no,
but you as a finance
no,
person,
no,
only second is a problem.
And I may just say, the air koso no, or no feel say. That is a pick. That's the only thing I can say. Just say the air course, no, the fools, everything is okay.
But sir,
the common sense approach. You are not getting the point. He is not the only person in Ghana, but he is the one that has
one of the former spokespersons
to take decision.
To take the decision, executive authority.
Agree.
Agree, but maybe and say to say there can na mene wo at this Kasila na make sure say baby ayi gina say no
and yet
say COVID sika e ba ya ka problem aye faces say would have seen that problem in the middle of 2020.
Okay.
Would have seen the problem there. Yeah, but COVID sika na e ba ya and just before the lockdown no na Ansah can euro bonds be it's na masike be aba system no and I say it through. But as I'm saying, no. Or no, na, or ye, to say, I can't Ferguson assembly. Okay? Or no, ye Ferguson. Said ye, or mine is see air corner. Ye, Casa be brain. Or no, dear. Just a Casa ye cano, dear. Or no, fool say, I ain't who I didn't
because I ye cano, no, so to Lumbanyon.
And I may just say, Casa ye cano, no. Have you no differently. On the so far as you're concerned, no. Oh, Ken is performing. The best finance minister, he's performing. Unfortunately, 1 or 2 minutes Ukraine. Not only Ken, I mean, other sectors are also suffering. But so far as on you're concerned,
but Edgar, you take decisions because of the people.
There is a video in 2016. Akufo-Addo etika so or kasa. Or catch Mahama say Mahama Ghana for kasa. Tie womo. In all the case or say on the unti obia na nyuma won penny your friend say ye nti obia say Mahama si unti obia. He is the same person saying it. The same day you ask the question say na the internet na Ghana for so kasa wo de wo say wonti. Oh. I just look at it and say that the ultimate is in his hands. So or no fool say, and that is what he's trying to demonstrate. So far as he's concerned,
Edgar,
why? Then why wouldn't he change them?
No, me no say that the president, because that is his feeling, should mean that yanka yanutu.
No, because
if Ken is a failure,
what? Yes. So far as concerned,
when Ken is a failure, we must point out that Ken is a failure.
So, and how does
we are doing it?
And how does Ken get out of there?
The Ken at the Ministry of Finance pointed out to the fact that Ken was digging a grave for us to be buried.
And I made just a minute, Bernard. Ye na yaka, baby, I say finance minister, and the dia kwa sheho. But even that one, I have a problem with it because baby, I say no. Even though we blame the finance minister, no, we will still have to blame Parliament for it. It's a different subject. But the question I'm putting across is
the Parliamentary.
Or no papa na or tihonum na or no bit me akase Ken free home. Okay. Say or say all money free honoma.
What? So that is why Bernard is saying, at least NDC, IXBT, BB.
And I make sure say, Massa, Papa not no. Whether they've exhibited or not.
No, they all catch and they say, Papa no you're not done for.
No. Into whatever it is, no, right? So, or see, own and
you can't do anything.
Or see, has a power. But then, no, be can answer say, be a tiena won't no. Say 2024, you got two abana. Say abandon the bachelor. Say we need muya juma and as a whatever. You see what?
But at the end of everyone also be an enema say more.
But what can you do?
Because even more MPs kasa.
And I just say MPs kasi. And you one more can say your friend say. Omuko jina ka say after ya do omuko Alisa hotel o say him fa ni omuko kasa ya up to na yenti omuka bi mi.
That be omo businessman be share no.
But whatever. One more NPC or Mukase, if they were really worth their friends here, and baby, they could have been boycotted after that, you know. One because in the parliament, they cry the yemba. But they are there. They are there. Vote of censure, Mose Moya Pontius Pilate, Mapi Pamun, Mosanka. So, what again do you expect to happen? Where you want to be in Kase, your friends, a military dictatorship into me, before? No. The ultimate power is in the hands of the president. So far as president is concerned, the man is performing fantabulously.
The president himself is an abysmal performer. Yes. Who doesn't appreciate the difference between success and failure. You cannot get it. So many we are arguing that our president doesn't have standards. And our standards are somebody like Ken Ofodata cannot continue to hold office. But because your president doesn't have any standards, or sorry, I not say Ken is performing effectively. And therefore, we should all run into this ditch. Minu ekasei, Tio, Edgar Tiemi. Alan Chiremanting, resign a president again in resignation at home. Sadanwa na president announced say Ken will be caretaker minister, acting minister at the Ministry of Trade. The uproar, the anger in the society.
Oh my.
What you say? Daddy, oh my ear.
I've been Martin language.
Anger in society. Oh my ear. Anger in society. Because Ken is struggling with a sector.
That is the simplest thing everybody was saying. Papa, baby, you
was struggling. Also, so
what that guy is trying to communicate is saying, anybody I just say, oh, fee, sir, and this for some bit or monk of why changes are fine.
Into young, the president decided, say, oh, the public uproar was the
caretaker. No, so the Uncle and also Uncle so ya process. Oh, God, I'm saying, cry, went to me and so told
but you will see that the anger was less compared to when Ken Ofodata was there, and things have just quieted. Actually, the current problem we have, and you as somebody who is in the industry, Unim say, as soon as there is lack of confidence in the leader, look, nothing works. Anything that Ken wants to do anything, then there is a revolt. Yanko ye haircut. Capital will not, your friend saying, a principal will not be affected. Individual bondholders. Now, wako pension funds, not union say, engine to. You somersault to individuals. The individuals say no. Why? Because the character that is leading this. And I keep telling you people, they say, when there was looting and sharing by Ken Ofodata in his data bank and enterprise insurance, the people of Ghana did not participate. So how do you expect that when there is now a burden, you can call on people to burden share? NC and NC Ochina.
Okay, so we are dealing with this financial haircut issue, but quick one. Answer the Meko Edgarson. Omar raising new issues. Now the new directives, and it's Omar the haircut from 0% to 5%. Then it seems they want to exempt a year pensioners. So individual bondholders, it still stands. No. Already, you said your kind of labor force, no, dear, no, for enka. And all. What do you see? Matisa president they can say me ya domo hwebe enu next month there this IMF deal will go through because omo ya arrive at BB with this financial haircut.
Now IMF deal, what is it all about? Say IMF should give us money so as to increase our debt stock. Because I know so you're borrowing. Already you are at
a rate of 2 point.
I know so you're borrowing.
2.9 something.
But normally the saying.
Oh, that is
the rate. But I know. So it means that the IMF was always available for us to go and borrow, and we went into the international capital market. And yes, sir. Because anytime you go to the IMF, they will give you a lower.
Oh no, not necessarily.
Oh, anytime you go to the IMF compared to going to the international capital market.
No. The IMF structure, is to help to support you.
The IMF has never built any economy out.
Different from the international.
Their money is not for.
The IMF has never built any economy out of its predicament.
If they have never, that's a different thing. But that is what it was set up for.
It has never been able to build any economy of its predicament. And nunti ena previous government or moko IMF ana Akufo-Addo ni buefu. Na ni buefu because okase IMF is not the solution. Ebedru time dia yefa policy edeko say we are going for policy credibility. Omoka say na chere say the government itself has lost credibility in its own policy that IMF now will have to go and teach you how to come and run your economy. And yes, sir. And who is teaching you how to run your economy?
The same IMF.
And yet the same IMF. And Omoka say, in order to bring that 2015 policy, there should be job freeze. And it's not job freeze.
Yeah.
Oh, where they say job freeze? There's no employment at all. Because there was a job freeze for a certain period. No employment, When is it coming to end? There's no period. All this in one. And that is why I say that Akufo-Addo is the standard last president. A minister for finance, and he's doing like try and error. Try and error.
Matra makwe.
Yan say, yeah, na ko ya na jump near yen say, it say near fire service for moyano. Omo ha no moti say je ehye ha time cramp bi no mo de car no akọ omo koduru ha no mo hu se car no nso ni ho Ansah no mo kokwa se nso ebeduru no omo duru ha no mo hu se ade na ya bronsan ba omo ni leather nti omo ntimi nduru ho no mo gina ase na nso eja no ahye. That kind of work is what we are doing at the Ministry of Finance. Matwa makwe. So when you have a minister for finance who is doing a try and error, me yen say na anko ya na masa akwadwum na mabeyen say, so you don't think through, you don't know that you needed to do consultation. You can say ama cultural template e the ama most communicators say Jamaica, the individual bondholders entered into agreement to give up their bonds. Muka say Grenada, they did. Muka say Barbados omoye, but uko Barbados it took them 18 months to reach that agreement with the individual bondholders to surrender their bonds. Oko Jamaica, it took them 30 months to surrender their bonds.
Almost 3 years.
You understand? If you go to Grenada, it took them 30 months for the government to negotiate, to sit down with the people so that they can get there. You are giving people 2 weeks. You didn't sit with anybody. You came up as a man carrying gun and said that all of you lie down. We will not give you your monies. We have decided that you have to roll them over. You are telling us that you need 80% of people to surrender their bonds. And now, Catherine said you are going to give them 5%. Pensioners are not going to be part. Look, it's not pensioners, Edgar. I know members of parliament. Amini Ebimo, Yaye programs. They have put their monies for the payment of their school fees and what have you into bonds. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the members of parliament. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. And then they are waiting. Say, school fees, January in particular. Say, they no more the akotua among my school fees. Say, I walk
Oh my idea.
And so if you see that the majority leader and the majority whip, Kasa, Masa na warm.
Obibi be that bonny.
I'm just telling you, sir. So it is not so uko yi pensioner no. Now what you are directly telling the people say, Munyi mumano enfi school. They should not continue their education because government is unable to pay. Uko 5%. And a lady called me from the Eastern region, 38 years, according to her. She is a single mother. Afena neba Beko University. She planned investing her money. Say at that time, neba Beko na ko iskano akutua neba school fees. So see, the son has secured an admission.
School fees not a problem.
School fees not a problem. And that has been her only dream. Say neba so onotubeti mi afwe no ako university. So when you go and cater for pensioners, and you think that you don't cater for those who also are looking for a future before they become pensioners, you think that some people will survive? We should die before we become pensioners.
All right. Now, Florence Budumanuel says, can promise in Koforidua to give account of the e-levy. But until now, nothing could be. He can't be trusted ever, even with his numerous quotations from the Bible. And this is a fact. Cosmos Mama says, Bernard, please don't expose the tricks of our fire service. Your tactics Charlotte, this is Commander, good job. All right, thank you. Johnson GH says, Commander, I'm in shock when watching this one talking like this. I remember when this man used to, what is he talking about? Bernard, he's talking about Bernard.
Yeah. Talk. No, that be Kasa.
Anyway,
that's his view. That be one. Well, read it.
Yeah.
No, read what he has written. That's the person's view, and I come here to speak my view, and I'm not opposed to anybody saying anything.
Selikem says, I'm Gideon Selikem from Ashalibutrain, and okay, so don't forget that Chairman General, in reference to Asedun Ketia, spoke about regional balance, because our frontliners can't be on one line from the north in reference. I totally agree with the change. And 2024 is do or die first. My greetings to Muntaka and
National Chairman, Council Elder Ibrahim Mahama.
Mahama Idrisu.
Mahama Idrisu.
Then Idrisu
himself,
Muntaka, Ahmed. Okay,
Muntaka is not from Aswasi, which is in the Ashanti region.
Aswasi, I mean, just Ashanti.
You can't die there, we say.
And your papa, we menene say, menene beya junior. Uncle President Akufo-Addo, hono unko yinima niyama oye wo hono, because I know their crampo is not from one tribe, or it's not from one Bako.
Anyway, Edgar, this financial cut issues.
Oh, let me say something, sir. At times, Obi can say me say, you call IMF 17 times.
19 times.
19 times, whatever.
Akufo-Addo alone has gone there 3 times.
Oh, how?
The 2015 IMF na John Mama Mokoyen, it was to end in 2017.
Okay. No, extended.
Or extended. You can't extend it without going back to the IMF. You can't sit down and then extend it. Into that was one going. COVID-19, the Akufo-Addo regime went to the IMF to seek their facility.
Okay, and this one.
This 3 times. What the Enokamwa is 19 times.
Bernard is some day.
Oh, and you know correct.
Oh,
Bernard. No, Katrina said we didn't extend the facility. Katrina said we didn't go for COVID-19 IMF. And Katrina said we are not at the IMF today.
COVID-19
3 times.
COVID-19 IMF, no. It was a proposal that IMF made to every country. And when I just watch it now, and what that was.
And to won't you crap when now call.
No, it was a proposal that was made for everybody to have.
And the Ghana decided to go. A country that was doing well.
Oh no. Someone American is okay. Bernard is 19.
What do I do? 19.
17.
19.
Okay, Mate. What do you have? The question is this: is adding and I call for all this period, whether 17 or 19, I didn't call. It is the simple reason is when you don't get to understand a root cause of a problem. Now when dealing with that problem now, a better ba. And it is always important to say you get to know the past. Adentina adie we ebaye. So yet no how then do we ensure say yes adie? Paris Club one more equi. This Paris Club in the year 2001 when President Kufuor opted for HIPIC
yeah.
Now Paris Club no mushai no. For which they forgave us 2/3 of our debt. They made it clear, say, Masa, adia ye yamamui, yen sanye bium emamo. Start debt forgiveness, no, and ya adia ye besa yamamo. Lessons being na yesua free home. We didn't learn any lesson, and I asked back to where we are. I say, the root cause of the problem must always be understood. Now, one of the problems are, yes, so you're warning is we fail to understand is we can't ask them. Sheti bako enko obia. Obian in his size. Oh.
Yeah.
So you cannot prescribe one method and expect to say that method no be fiti ama obia. In a country to say Ghana no. As I would say the structure of Ghana I say. We have a super 10x large informal sector, which is very, very amorphous. You cannot just paper ni pen and two and cast a say na Ghanaian economy no structure no a city. Until you'll be making a very big mistake when you think it's said. You can develop this economy or this country through taxation. You can,
but can you?
That is what I'm saying, sir. As compared, that's and I'm going to say when you look at the developed world, taxes play the main role in their revenue, and then want to use it for whatever developmental programs that they have.
Yeah,
but that is what I'm saying, sir. That system, properly structured. That you know everything that is going on. You know who is this, what is going on here. We know what income is coming in. It is a properly structured. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, system, amorphous. Into Osha and your my try say in a digital way, no. We are having some kind of hurdles along the way. However, it's a good idea. Say started. One day we will get there. It's a good idea. One day we'll get there. Into not until they say, wait to me, ama that format and on archie system. No. You don't depend on taxes to make this country work. The country, because taxes in the crowd no. Anytime no projected figures, no, yes, I borrow to make up for our budget. Sika bus system now will have to find itself into the AB, just a basa. Ansah kasika no. Ubeshe, what's the name? You budgeted a certain amount for a particular institution. Ubekwa kwashe at the end of the day, no. Ebia a quarter of sika cry budgeted the man, no. Ansah enka. So the problem in our case is government has to find another way. Government has to find another way of generating revenue, not mobilizing revenue. What government is doing is mobilizing revenue.
Financial haircut.
No. Just I'm coming to
but you are talking about the taxation.
No, yes, I'm saying what the problem. Why? And I'm going to say we need to understand why Ayaba Bidruha. Our problem is you. So because one of the dangers a woman in the same, wo pesika edi ayade. Wo so sika no nya ade a wo ye adwuma akwakofa sika na ba. But rather no wo taxe enkrofo. Na enne yesi tax we, ochina yesi tax we, there ema mi dwa parliament. And they say till date Parliament has not been able to give us precisely certain information anchor in here. For instance, COVID here a PP moon some bebree but then the question you are asking is say 1% sa 1% COVID is it COVID
COVID levy.
how much has been generated from that 1%, you know.
Obian,
you know, you start to say you just 1%. How much has that money generated?
Obian.
Now, SARS can so a generating no. Yeah, they are then because today you cannot tell me, say, you gave me free water and then free electricity when I am paying some 1%. Just say me car no. Into you cannot tell me, say, a free water, any free electricity. Into know how much has been accumulated from that 1%. No. Near farm match expenditure will say, oh yeah, for water, any electricity. Now say whether we should still be paying that 1%. So I mean in Parliament now saying in so no yeah. Now the other aspect in so then they say, yeah Bobesiano. Yeah call capital market no. Na yeah Bobesiano. Then potting your car say yeah this asikano eba be.
Yeah, that's another issue.
Now adiana yeah this asikano eba be no. How were we going to repay?
And I say yeah yempo.
No, they may says so. No, sir, these are some of the things. And sometimes Parliament, I have a problem with Parliament because my baby Bobesia, and I say my baba beji permission or ho, and I'll say me nkonko Bobesia no fine. Adia me de kwa koye no. I will say who adia na me de kwa koye. E kwan ben na mefa so a metumi tua saa sika no. Wo ho no. Enti saa nyoma ni nyina na wo say o de to Parliament. Na Parliament ehwemu ehun say kwan a wo say wo befa so de tua no. Ebe yana saying Sebi akwa say even an individual wo so kwa ko bobosia cry through bank o bank hwe wo salary okay in your hwe salary at me say e bia krache sika na wo hwe no based on wo salary no with the policy say at least 2/3 of your salary should go home no you share the deduction amount na sa sika na wo hwe no Yentu informa ebia ye be ma this amount because in him say at the end of the month no salary ba den take care of it obi to ko koje bozi o say me dey koto the work and pay in just say yes at the end of the day no tete. So you want to ask yourself say ye kwa ko bobesia no na sika na ye de be den na de ba be ye no na no anka se betumi ai obi can self financing and as a den Yakoji Sasike. Yasaba back to Parliament bill. Yes, I go back to the capital market. Yes, I go bought another Busia. Who besides na first one Busia na boy no. And when your manakosi saying Munfa krata and mrani enhwe ubo Busia way. This is the period you have. Yenhwe wait me chasika uchu asika no reserves here saying how much are you generating? Well, sa analysis we nyina no na anke wasem wo ye. Before you give the approval. Say, yes,
but Edgar, this is the situation. I quite remember somewhere last year, issues are working by Emma minority. Yes, some of the friends, budgets they won't approve it. I don't know whether you heard it.
That is what
but what happened was that, young Kwabena can't say. Opposition forum per se be develop a country no because we need money. They need to approve the budget.
You see, the question is this: how are you going to repay? That is the point of emphasis.
Parliament check
that is Parliament's duty.
I'm telling you the problem,
and I'm telling you that Parliament failed to do that. Parliament did not ask these questions. May say Parliament failed to do that.
Yes.
Because if you had done those analysis now, you would have seen it say we were heading in for crisis,
which they told them.
You see, no, listen. What they did, was not the scrutinization of the documents.
All right.
Okay, because and then one of the funny things they say, "Oh no, governor now or no." Didn't the governor know? Said, baby, this is the situation in which the banks were going to face. Because you are there. We now monitor a bicycle crowd. Payments are costing no, if I won't say. And I will crowd real data no. Didn't you know? Said this is the situation in which we are getting to. Only for us to sit there and then on the 5th of December they come and announce something to us. Ain't the problem now? Like I'm saying, it's a root cause. So anti-root cause last year. We will go back to Parliament again. Let me say Parliament.
IMF.
You better call IMF for opium because say no. one of the things is next, one of our biggest problem, and it's our $1.5 billion now. January 2025, now see it here. Now, $1.5 billion near Kofi free. The other issues now, a woman say, initially, the whole idea, IMF, before reaching the staff level agreement, it was that $3 billion, it was going to be done in tranches. It was going to be done in 3 years. 1 billion. After the 1 billion, they'll make the assessment. If everything is okay, the following year, any assessment release you 1 billion. Say, no. You say, you're penny na at a go. Boom. Yeah, 3 million, no. Embra at a go. Boom. And the question is this. If all this 3 billion is coming in at a go, together with other receivables are airborne, if you listen to Kenufuriata very well, it just says, Sasike in your bar, they will get the opportunity to go back to the capital market and go and borrow again. Wow. Adenti na mo person mo creative problem say Magana. And then the next thing to say if they are going back to go and borrow again na wa unim wa mo mbenya commissions ewumu wa mo mbenya cuts ewumu. Wow. And all these things, everybody is quiet. Parliament, you are quiet. Whoa. You are quiet.
But yeah, it seems like this government, they say, okay, baby, I want it. Into bed.
No, whoa, it's that time. Now, they said, the meaning, remember that they are in for no. And yes, say, Yama, the ordinary man, no. It is because women now wakum individual bondholders, women now she movie.
But still,
so that is why you now have to stand up and say, look, enough is enough. We can get other people to start or continue with their friends negotiations on a different level and what have you.
Now, also, Monica in free. Obia Beka was one tiasi.
Maza.
A man for the Manuel to be was one tiasi. So what do you do?
The power of the people. And I may just say, sir. Near from say 80 and 96 rebels. Then near from
MPP for 96, I think 96.
If they decide, say Parliament, say we here, the government will be forced to listen. The government, you see, a Drew baby, you have to deploy some kind of extra strategies. Because if this is what is going to happen now, it is look, we are entering into a certain difficult area. Say, one problem ye face you Ghana say since 1642, they biano we are dependent on cocoa. Ye train ama cocoa syndicated loans aba. Na ye nya dollars their shore ye dollar reserves up. And they just say if you say Ansah can na ma some stabilization about your seed no more. Ye started say ye cocoa business for Ghana ha. Cote d'Ivoire kra na wo mu ni cocoa. Neba ni saying last year 2022.
Yeah.
Ghana is struggling to make $1 billion for cocoa. Cote d'Ivoire made $7 billion from cocoa. Yeah, started cocoa kra na wo mu no mu di.
Na yeah sector for no explaining it.
That is the point. You see, that's what I'm saying. Say, oh no, when you don't know how to generate money, that is our problem. Because say if our cocoa sector na cocoa board one problems are about out be yeah, the car bear 12 billion waha, yeah, the car waha, yeah, the insulin.
So Edgar's car a fine.
Na anya VAT no more de tuto na ye ma ye ho lipstick allowance, shoelace allowance, bow tie allowance. Any the cocoa board. Look at the depth in which you are in. You see, look at the depth you are in. And so go and see the luxurious life they are living there. At the end of the day, how do they make profit and pay dividends to government? Whoa. And that is why the SOEs never honor. The SOEs are supposed to be profit-making institutions where at the end of the day, when we pay dividend, I'm a government. Now, sa dividend no much I'm a government. Say, cause our dividend input, and you can see they free SHS and BBA. Then at least you himself that one is not going to affect the budget. But yeah, baby, you constant revenue every year back.
Yeah.
When just I say job for the boys, let's go and chop. companies are not making profit.
So which means we are here because omu discount.
It is not a question of omu discount, a mismanagement. Because ice no enina e was a share sadie no sa eninu na nhwe because enka enini you will not make all this kind of
but ebia eninu so hwe na ya ne fe also to me hwe ade
no but I'm just saying you are not making profit. Your expenditures are more than your income, and every time the government has to pump money there just a nipa na or hwe no senka or hwe he will it said here and the Bank of Ghana about abaka chere cocoa board for se krache. They be yes, I man and say yeah ma free na ma biom. You see what is this like? It is if the right people and commode your nice form and your car says with the yeah man people will begin to think. So no, would you be a say a targets in New York? What is expected of the human being? There's nothing. And one is a team. But one company board to me meeting every week. Omu meeting yaji allowance.
And see with this financial haircut, what do we do?
No, and I'm just even with the financial haircut, no. Based on the analysis na kenofuriata ayeno, it tells you say they are still not thinking. Because if they are thinking we can get out of this situation within 3 years, we can get out of it. We don't have to wait for the 15 years and what have you. Our mokika, mobabe cutting for hair, no ne, a man for bonds best of her. It is all about ideas. Ideas, and say, what is it that we have as a country as a competitive advantage? What do we have as a comparable advantage? And we have a lot. We have a lot. Say, assassin na kupon dia maye. We can do a lot with the soil. You can't agriculture. Government is not seeing say sikawoho.
PFG.
No, you see, let me tell you something here. Government must take it up as its own responsibility and not to rely on individual peasant farmers. Because when you are relying on individual peasant farmers,
empower
no. See, let me tell you something. Ebiani say make say Cote d'Ivoire Ansah no. They made sure say the cocoa industry becomes a national matter, and that is why they are growing it and growing it well. Gomono, they have continuous land, and yes, say corner we say asase we kojo asume si mensa asase we if one mansa no continuous land into ye expand there now you expand it. Me say I own nam sa kwan so when you crack me you are kwedu ni body aye dua e o kwan no wo hwe kra when you cry oya just say musa. They know the value of it. Time akwa wait as a Oveboy was a big time farmer, and even though he had his ministers, but he made sure say the cabinet for no they were all farmers. Say cocoa ne kwa na pineapple so ye den eko na kwedu so enim na eko good money. But then we still have the same thing that we can do. Wow. And then say, friends say, last month as a bank, Indonesia.
Yeah.
They be my friend is it Philippines. One more say, wow, Jenny, Mr. Moses Samurai Kuma. And you know how much you can make. But yeah, cry, free
Burkina.
Yeah, you see? Now what a Burkina to me export your friends and strawberry. Burkina can even export strawberry.
Anyway,
we are not seeing the value of some of these things. It is important to see the value of these things now. Now you're the year like a policy. They said they be making a free akuto or say oyeden planting for food and job. National service is a complete drain pipe. National service is a complete drain pipe. What do they do? What in Crawford go to office and Crawford smart some mami. But if you had also come up with that concept, they say planting solely for export. Planting solely for export. You'll be amazed as to the kind of monies you can generate from these areas. You don't go and have to attack any ordinary man's bond because you make enough money.
Okay. Merci baby. Now namle odate lamte says since change can be exciting, The outgoing leaders should remember to be kind to themselves and others throughout the process. Support your team members by giving them any materials and tools they need to adapt to change over time. Okay, so sometimes changing leadership is necessary so that you can take off barriers and to gain access to sources. Senior man says General Sedunketia is from a different planet before you think he thought. I mean, wayo, and that is it. Okay, so Alexander Kwesi says, Bobie, this man is talking about accountability, and this is what advanced countries are doing, even with their own money, and not the ones they have borrowed. So, we should just listen to Edgar. Okay, so Kojo Robert says Parliament is part of our problems. We should accept it as a country and move on. Salikam says this government is actually a useless government. Let me say this. Citizen Y says watching you live from the United States of America. Thank you. Mustafa Saboteur will be ask him what is the difference between mismanagement and unnecessary spending or chopping the money. I mean, it's the same. They are chopping the money. Maybe if you are or maybe dear friend in Tumakakra.
Oh, once they are chopping your money, you are here saying they are mismanaging.
Oh, that's it. What?
They are chopping the money. They are.
No, they beat you. What happens is
what is what?
What Nyabutre
this card.
No, my example. Yes. I quite to say. Over an unproductive sector. Na de bia uchia salary. Wo BBM free ho emma. Eso de bia uchia salary.
Masa omodisika Jani Okano.
Oh me
this omodisika Jani Okano. There is nothing like me.
So the COVID funds Auditor General report. Bernard. We don't need to go back to a year Myanmar, but I know you know whatever has happened in there.
Say auditor, your friend is grandpa.
Dom level.
That be any dom level.
Okay,
dom level no more year.
I see you, friend. I see you.
No, my journey says I see do ba. Audit no, and you who say was almost fan say I see do the or young cassa ye nipa. Obey me a bar, none your man uncle ya no akase akoye. Unfortunately, on Ankasani office will come into disrepute. And you know, as Auditor General, and occur all the institutions. So
exactly.
Report no beba near Oyene said to confirm of our MPs. And Omuka say Auditor General every year on the auditor. It is not a final work.
Yeah.
It is not true. And you know, the first say Auditor General and my recommendation say intimate me aye. It's not to say that Parliament is the final auditor. Audit report be abeba. I worked with Internal Revenue Service. Auditors na ya amubaho. So auditors every year. In fact, the first thing they do is that they come and do a preliminary audit. You share your cash book balance. You share your bank balance. You share your cash in still. No matter you should be bia. No matter say okay. We anyway atali. Until you know to her. And son no mo beba befa mo books no ma check cash. Mo koye sa expenditure. These are company documents akum. We other na koye and say. Omo bia. They then raise queries. And yes sir. Omo raise queries now. No ma fret mo impenyinfo and those who are responsible for handling the issues. Now, Maka say, ye ye juma yi. Say any whom management, mumma response. Say management at the response in the ba. Now response no ye satisfactory. It is after the management response and na omuma final report. When the management has finished and your friend saying your management response is not satisfactory, they will carry the audit as it is. into the Auditor General report. So it is not like management are never given the opportunity to see what the auditors have come to do. And actually say, no, there is no audit that finishes without say more ye juma wahono. Auditor report in the Montana Senayamshe. When you amfa kwanso, when we ma ye, then we deal with it. When you are able to provide the answers, the receipts, and other things to support, vouchers to support, say, oh, we receipt we ye no na dex moment me hunu ntem afedi makokwe me hu. They will come and clear those things and they don't come. So the Auditor General's report is as a result of response from management, or where management fails to respond, then they will come up. It's a final document. And that is why Occupy Ghana. Eka said the Auditor General, according to our law, has power to surcharge and to prosecute.
Let me tell you something funny here. What you have stated, the exact position, how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, this particular Auditor General's report, it is not so. The Nyomana Air Kosovo Parliament say no. Those are the things that should have been captured in the report. There's major reports in the big auditees' responses are not captured in the report. And number two, that auditees' responses now ain't captured. No. There is nowhere in the document.
In reference to this?
Yes, this particular report, Mashima. There's no reference in the document to say the Bernard there can no. That query sheet or management sheet as or the Bema was okay, your findings in here responding no. There is nothing stating it say these things were given and no response at the time we were preparing our document.
Okay.
There's nothing like that in most of the cases.
And so therefore, you have even made my...
But we are sending Edgar a message, man, kind of Kwabena. Or say, while the former president of Cote d'Ivoire was in famine, Akufo-Addo is into Galamsey.
Yeah.
Biden African Summit. Cote d'Ivoire President Osman Obise Onko. He's seriously constructing a cocoa processing plant.
Really?
Yeah. Osman Obise Onko.
Oh, there be other presidents did not go. The Zambian president has not traveled since he became president. Because there is work to be done in Zambia.
But there's one important point we also made on this cocoa thing. Said your cocoa no asaya fano. Okay. Our cocoa says you reject your cocoa in certain areas. Now the Cadbury for any Nestle for no. Wamoni India are taking on a new partnership. India now is growing organic cocoa for the needs of Cadbury and the Nestle. Within the next 2-3 years, your cocoa no obi anye den ento. Na honum ne behwe bibia more dollars na more syndicated loans say more the Bible supporting more there. And you know one of the funny things, is that our people are behaving like they are not even aware of what is happening.
Probably they don't care.
When the Auditor General has its own rules, say you cannot present a final audit to Parliament without getting management response now acquire, the Auditor General must be fired ab initio. Exactly the point. Not even that, but the point of the matter is that it is international best and it is in the ICA Act. That is, my ejuma kakrai war internal review. It is in the ICA and I worked as an accounts officer.
Okay.
And that had been the standard practice at the time I was working.
No, that is the international standard position. And I'm just even in the ICA Act, you need to get the auditees' responses. Into the Kosovo Parliament say no. Some responses now no. These are the responses anka I was a Auditor General and the whole. Now no a capture in this report.
Okay.
Into 19.81 million. Yeah, they call vaccines. Ediaba. The vaccines never came.
Is it 81 or 19?
81 million.
81 million US.
Ena yanya vaccines. Ena yesika no so ambano. How do you say?
Or say or catch a Ghana government or follow up na UNICEF right?
Yeah, I've tackles or whatever.
Yeah. So they are asking
all the vaccines, TMO, all the vaccines that Ghana got were free vaccines. And yes, sir.
Oh, now Sputnik then see free or not?
Oh, na say missing near because Sputnik the number.
Accept na beside.
Vaccines ni nyina ye nya no. Na nu nyina e free vaccine.
Oh, too adwene si bibi so.
When I make catch say Sputnik the no amba.
Because Bobie had to tobo.
And no I koto no more than the price.
I don't know what you adwene si so.
What you say? Baby a minister to me call parliament e ko ka say that time no na adwin eni ho no. When your minister tell you that,
by the time.
Somehow you can credit them with it because you see, the problem now you go through. IMCC is like you are forced to be. No, some of these things, you know, when you are doing, when
you can credit them for.
No. I'm saying that. No. What I'm saying is that. No. Don't.
You can credit them for what?
I am not being prejudiced on any issues. I'm just trying to behave like a normal human being. There are times you can be.
But this are not normal, Edgar. How can you say that we should praise them for chopping our money?
Have I said they should be praised?
You said that we should credit them. Credit is what?
No.
Credit is what?
I'm saying me say.
What is the meaning of credit?
Me say nipa ne kase at a point in time no. Right?
That his leave
and I being Juma. And I may just say we are human beings. We all go through certain things at a point in time in our life.
And that you'll be signing a contract for the government of Ghana.
I'm not saying what he did. I'm not saying what he did is right.
And you are still in office.
I'm not saying what he did is right. I'm only just bringing a normal human aspect in life.
When you're normal.
You Martin.
When you're normal.
You Martin.
Let's go.
You were signing. At the time, you were signing a contract when even the website, share website, Akacha said, don't buy it from a third party. Now you tell us that your brains were not working and you are still qualified to be a minister. All the vaccines we got, me say, we got free vaccines. And at the time, Kuma Boaji, your friend Kuma Boaji, Dr. Kuma Boaji, Onanka Beka say, we had received so many vaccines, so much, that Ghana was in excess of near year one. Why were you spending 81 million to go and import vaccines when you already have excess vaccines in town?
Double shot.
That were not the ones you
and
have.
I think they paid their money around June 2020.
You went to procure when you have vaccines that you have not utilized, and you are bringing more vaccines.
Oh, Bernard, they have double boosters, your friends, your man. I don't know if they call double shot.
Ajima menu only na they say what
they call double shot. Aye, and I call double shot. You see, somebody the boosters.
COVID-19, in effect, actually say we made so much money under COVID-19.
Yes. Of course, yeah, we made
that. If we even decided to use COVID-19 money alone, this economy will not run down. If we used it, make us say we use it now. Nanka yedi adwi. Edo to so and yedi use ya anka embassy baby a yesi. Baby a yedi COVID sika yedi ni te say anka tia ye no say salagama. No. That is the reason why we have run into this problem. So when you hear the current second vice chairperson of the northern region, Eka says Sikano, ye say Edema candidate, ye say Edema ye say
30,000,
20,000, 100,000. It is obvious that they were chopping our money as if it was of no consequence. And then, when you loot our money and you chop it the way you have chopped it, and out of that we have run into a ditch, don't invite anybody to bed and share.
Ghana, I just say, your problems, they do, baby. I find it very difficult to make sense in so many things.
We have the next 3 minutes to go.
How do you tax ordinary men? Ordinary man, what tax ordinary man? Now, what it is, Kano, ama ahimfo as petrol money, petrol allowance. Just na sa idea ni kwa wan ko fa buy na wo say na wa ko to V8 ama ahemfo na wo sa ma o petrol allowance just o dream wo kra you know why na ko fa sa idea ni kra be say ye system mu a ye wo sa kuruma Oh, but seriously, the Auditor General, I think we need to take a second look at his whole business again, because so far as I'm concerned, no reports now the actual form, no, it is unprofessionally done. Okay, and there's one other thing is why I am very striking. The striking thing is this: or no Auditor General Nankasa, no, he has not been licensed as an auditor, and by law you must be licensed by the ICA Act.
Okay, or no, as the person or his office,
or no, any office in United has not been. Oko the list of registered auditors in this country. Oko ICA kra nidin enka ho.
Auditor General.
Auditor General and an audit service, because before you are licensed, no. And yes, I work school, I control social passing, license. You need to go through a certain.
So, is it illegal? Is that what you want to say?
Masa, an auditor, when you audit a year, at the end of the day, you have to stamp it. Your name is written, signed, and your license number is put on. And you mean America, a ICA Act. The ICA
that is
Act.
The standard practice.
That is the standard practice. This man is not licensed as an auditor. In Tim Crime was a parliamentary practice that paying licensing as auditor, not the reporter, but on Amosukra, Moody.
Unknown previous
auditors say Akufo-Addo and him say he's not qualified.
No, Edgar Buame.
Akufo-Addo na
whether Onimo media mature say the ICA Act says if you have to audit a year, right, you must be licensed by ICA. Okay, Oko ICA for licensed auditors are needing nim audit services within nim, and it is stated there clearly said before you can be licensed, no, you must go through a certain process before you are certified as a licensed auditor. Or no, only. I'm asking myself the question, say, now such a person, now yen licensing, no, not just say on your licensed auditor, no. I then know your report near the Babe to a jackets parliament. Now parliament is so far. Now ye de ukrum ye juma.
I think a question may finding out, then subsequently we will deal with it. All right, so that's it live on Accra 100.5. Issues no so clear. You didn't come more on NDC parliamentary issues. You didn't come more on this financial haircuts. And Edgar raised one striking a year. Me pacho yanji tax. Niemfanko tokas mahemfo. I think I see a stress idea we. Abayan back abayanko. I am for about 10 gods. Because they buy those things for them just to make sure say more opinion leaders, so they can influence society. Until see NDC ni see MPP ni. At the end of the day, no BBC nanakra can be ma omo. One to send nanakra a defending omo. So you wake up and you read statements from he took back further to Tumfo, to Rekumu to Wana, to Boko, to Gamanche, to why, and now hear him for statements as if they are political communicators, as if they are the spokesperson for the various governments. So the point is, we should look at all this. On my sika, the Emma Ahimfu Edi, Ahimfu no. Almost our percentage, our a good year, what do I to free woman's asses? So they have a percentage, they pay to them, royalties, they pay to them. You don't know what they bobra. So what do we do? There are other things. I think we will find time and look at it. Unfortunately, our time is up. Mustafa Saboteur says the Auditor General's report did not favor the MPP. So he's trying to excuse himself. I think we hear Edgar, yeah, definitely. We ain't even the other, Bernard the other. Okay, so GDE codes. I hope say menyen ye. Omunde a year star 920 star 456 hashtag Abba. Ubetimi dia checki a year on Wase resource, BC resource. Ubetimi dia toy school placement card, buy university forms and other things. Also ubetimi a friend was 05590903226. Or more as you any be a year Dakuman Circle Station, Kaswa Old Police Station, Amanfro Taxi Rank near Kaswa, Cape Coast, Abra Central Mosque. Then we have Top Choco. Top Choco, only 2. The other far a brodomu. And after so a 3-in-1 chocolate drink ya omodiaba osidio hiani sushi amount for into so Greenfield Scientific Bar Clinic, Bright Soldier capsules, Bright Garlic Plus capsules. We are grateful. Valentine's Day about 14th February. Adofo way air class media group Jumedi Kesi omne Snit Guest House Akabum air. Almost say your friend how well you know your partner series. Now uno honkanya 5 years say Edgar ne Bernard Momo mo ire ma tra chepa yes it be fan ho fabra na de obatro de aba no afan ho de aba no ye kenkai ne ahwe ne ahu de emu epi na awosen wom na yayi na afedi de mokọ Snit Guest House akoma mo treatment kama enti fa ho hyembi mo amwaware ache no okọ wi ase wa tramfie Ose
jro
ada la wo jro di wo mye
ebu mi wo jro na o partner na ko kasa enye no kure a
City Aba Center and city Kausaba immune booster amount for tugu so and omunyi bi. Okay, so we are done. We know adwuma who side girl be catch. Thank you so much. We are done. We are out. Enjoy your evening.